You might say Tony snapping his fingers is the most important scene of Endgame. After all, this act is what turned Thanos and his army to dust, and this, according to Doctor Strange, might be the definition of winning. The person wearing the Infinity Gauntlet has to snap their fingers to grant their wish. This is a way to show how granting your wish is so easy once you have the 6 Infinity Stones. Still, I want to argue that Tony Stark snapping his fingers was anything but easy. Tony knew the consequence of this action. He saw firsthand what it did to his friend Bruce Banner, the Hulk, who according to him is the strongest Avenger. Tony knew in that moment that he would die if he snapped his fingers. Then why did he do it? Where did Tony Stark get the strength to sacrifice his life for the greater good? As the scene in Age of Ultron goes,
I wasn't tricked, I was shown. It wasn't a nightmare, it was my legacy.
the end of the path I started us on. According to me, there are 3 kinds of people. 1. Those dwell on the glories of their past. Another, those living in the moment. And the third kind who always think about the future, their legacy. Tony Stark is the third kind. We all know that he was a visionary. He always thought about the future. The thing that bothered him the most was his legacy.
What you just saw, that is your legacy, Stark. Is that how you want to go out? Is this the last act of defiance of the great Tony Stark?
It was defining his legacy that drove him to build the first Iron Man suit, stop manufacturing weapons, be a part of the Avengers, and finally create Ultron. Although things didn't always go as he planned. Still, one might argue that Tony must have been happy to see all the heroes line up during the epic Avengers Assemble moment. This picture of legacy should be enough for the Iron Man to finally rest. But Tony Stark is not just Iron Man.
Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off, what are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Isn't that enough? Personally, I would be happy if I achieved even one of them in my life. But for Tony, it's not. He had all of it at a very young age. Still, something felt missing. That's something we heard him talk about in the beginning of Infinity War. He talked to Pepper about a dream where they had a kid, named after Pepper's eccentric uncle, Morgan. He didn't just see the dream, he felt it, as if it was real. For once, he must have experienced pure bliss, no matter how brief, which is why he hoped that this would someday turn into reality. Fortunately, it did. Those 5 years of being a parent must have taught him the true purpose of his life. For once, Tony saw his legacy not in what he did, but whom he raised. Now, you might say that this means Tony's scenes with his daughter are the most important scenes of the movie. Sure, they are important, but there is one thing that was still missing: validation. To know that what he was doing was the right thing. And who better person to give validation than his own father? Although we have never seen in the movies, there were clear signs that Tony's personality was shaped by the relationship with his father, or a rather lack of it. Growing up in a Stark family, Tony had everything he could buy except for the love and validation of his father, which is why he spent millions on the BARF technology, hoping to get some form of closure. He must have got some from the archived footage of his father.
What is and always will be my greatest creation is you.
But that was not enough. Fortunately, time travel gave him that chance to get some proper closure. Here, I must say I have never seen better use of time travel than in this movie. The entire sequence of Tony with his father was beautifully done. The confident Tony Stark who loved to dominate every scene for once felt weak and off his game. He felt scared, lost. He stumbled with his words and sometimes with his steps. Momentarily, Tony must have even forgotten the mission in the presence of his deceased father. The conversation that proceeded, although unintentional, was as if Tony was being advised by his father. Shake that, don't pull. A girl would be nice, less of a chance she'd turn out exactly like me. The greater good has rarely outweighed my own self interest. The high point of this sequence came when the roles were reversed. Now the son was giving advice to his father, who had not become a father yet. For once, Tony must have felt what it's like to be in his father's shoes.
I tell you, that kid's not even here yet, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for him.
This was the most beautiful, satisfying scene of the movie for me, and probably for Tony Stark as well. This was the validation Tony was looking for. This is what gave him the strength to make the snap happen. Knowing that his legacy will be safe in the hands of his daughter, and by extension Peter Parker and his fellow Avengers. Knowing that everything's going to be alright, he could finally rest in peace. Do you agree or disagree with my argument? Please share your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, please do like and subscribe to show your support to this channel. And always remember, world building is so fantastic that I'm a fanatic. If you have watched this far in the video, I'd like to thank you, especially because it's been a long time since Endgame was released. So either you already knew what I was talking about or didn't care enough to pay attention while watching this scene. Still, you watched this video of me talking about this scene, which is the most important scene of Endgame, according to me. So, thank you.